ഒരു ഗുഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർനൂൺ കൊടുത്തേക്കും. ചാറ്റ് തുടങ്ങാം. Say good afternoon. Good afternoon, my dear students. Good to see you back. Wishing you all a very nice week ahead of you. Let us begin the Hindu daily dated December 19 and 20. I am sure that all of you have already gone through the newspapers. So to have the best benefit of the program, you must read the newspapers before you participate. I request all of you to subscribe to our social media channels, subscribe to our YouTube channel, give likes to our Facebook page, and give your positive comments against the program in the YouTube. Those all will be a great encouragement to all of us. So good afternoon, shall I begin? I am going to start with the Hindu dated December 19 and 20. Am I audible and visible to all of you? Good afternoon. Am I visible and audible to all of you? Let me get a few responses. Am I audible? Am I visible? Okay, so I am going to start. December 19, we shall start with Prime Minister makes a strong pitch for farmers. Supreme Court finds High Court order on Andhra Pradesh government disturbing. The farmers' strike continues. It is continuing for the 26th day today. Amid the bad weather conditions in Delhi, the temperature is hovering around 4 degrees Celsius. Farmers are striking for their rights, for what they consider wrongful acts to them. All the 3 acts of parliament must be repealed. That is the demand. Government says that the government will not repeal the demand, as it knows very well that the three laws will be good to the farmers in the long run. So let us see what is going to happen, where we can have a meeting point or an amicable solution. Is it possible or not, is the nation is looking forward to. Sorry. This is my first question. Which among the following articles of the Indian Constitution empowers the state to impose presidential rule in a state if there is a constitutional stalemate in the state? A constitutional anarchy, a constitutional stalemate in the state. Is it article 356, 360, 380, 355 or 350? Please let me be given the answers. The time is up for you. Yes, the answer is correct. It is article 356 of the Indian Constitution that empowers the central government to pronounce presidential rule in the state. By applying the presidential rule in the state, the government of the state can be dismissed. For what reason? If there is a constitutional stalemate in the state. For the first time in India, article 356 was invoked to dismiss the Kerala government of 1956. The government was dismissed for constitutional stalemate. For example, I shall tell you, there are 140 seats in Kerala Legislative Assembly. If in the election 70 seats each are won by the LDF and the UDF, the two coalitions that are ruling the state from time to time, then there is a tie between them and nobody is in a position to form the government. That is a classic example for constitutional stalemate. At this point of time, the president's rule may be imposed. The parliament may be kept in the assembly may be kept in suspended animation. They may not be, it may not be dismissed, but it may be kept in this suspended animation. In the instant case, somebody has moved the High Court saying that there is a constitutional stalemate in the state, citing police interference in many civil cases. There were a few habeas corpus petitions were filed, and considering the number of habeas corpus petitions filed against the state, that somebody moved the High Court and the High Court decided that High Court asked the state to come with evidence. At this point of time, the Supreme Court intervened and the Supreme Court said it is not the job of the judiciary to check if there is any constitutional stalemate, and it is violative of the doctrine of separation of powers. So the High Court or the Supreme Court has nothing to do to check if there is a constitutional stalemate in a particular state. That is not the job of the judiciary. That is a stand that has taken by the Supreme Court of India. Let's see, since 1956 up to 1989 till the SR Bommai case, this particular article had been more misused than used. So it was a controversial provision of the article of the Indian Constitution. Dismissal of a popularly elected state government by another popularly elected central government. This is unthinkable in United States of America. A popularly elected government is dismissed by a super government. That is not possible. So article 356 has definitely been a controversial article. Ever since 1989, article 356 was very sparingly or even carefully used. Now there is a demand to use article 356 to dismiss the Andhra Pradesh state government. So, present in the instant case, the Supreme Court has kept itself away from giving a clear verdict on the use of Article 356. Okay. So, I am proceeding. The Supreme Court finds High Court order disturbing. On October 1, the Andhra Pradesh High Court passed an interim order which said on the next date the learned senior counsel appearing on behalf of the state may come prepared to assist the court as to whether in circumstances which are prevailing in the state of Andhra Pradesh the court can record a finding that there is constitutional breakdown, constitutional stalemate in the state or not. This order was passed in habeas corpus petitions. So, the High Court order is a very serious encroachment on the powers of the executive as enumerated under the Constitution and is thus violative of the doctrine of separation of powers. This is the observation of the Supreme Court of India. So, High Court asked the State Council to come prepared the next day to assist itself in determining whether there is a constitutional breakdown in the state. The Supreme Court said High Court does not have such an authority, it is against the spirit of the doctrine of separation of powers. So, these are things that you should understand and how it evolves. News is just breaking, so you should learn along with the news. So, now you know what Article 356 is all about. The Teesta water dispute is between India and which state? The Teesta water dispute is between India and which country? Myanmar, Pakistan, Nepal or Bangladesh? Give me the answer please. I am yet to get any answers, please. I request you to come with your answers. Okay, so I have started getting the answers. It is split between fifth option and fourth option so far. Okay, so I shall come with the answer. Answer is the fifth option, Bangladesh. The Teesta water dispute is between India and Bangladesh and the issue is still unresolved. It is hoped that in the next meeting between the Indian and Bangladesh Prime Minister, there will be a settlement to Teesta water dispute. Indian Prime Minister is invited by Bangladesh during its 50th anniversary celebrations, the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the state of Bangladesh. Indian Prime Minister was invited and hopefully he may accept the invitation and visit Bangladesh. So, the Teesta water dispute is between India and Bangladesh. So, I am proceeding further. Friend and neighbor, yes, it is what exactly I have said. Bangladesh is conducting its 50th inauguration of the state of Bangladesh and Indian Prime Minister is invited. Recently a virtual summit was conducted between the Prime Ministers of two nations. We are very worried that Chinese influence is improving or increasing, alarmingly increasing in the neighborhoods of India. Chinese investment in Bangladesh is also going up. So, it is in this context that India is trying to further its relations with Bangladesh. Of course, Bangladesh has always been an all-weather friend of our country. So, it is very important, that is what the Hindu says, that we have to improve the relations with the neighboring Bangladesh. Of course, the doors are opened that the Prime Ministers of the two nations would be meeting soon, hopefully in March, when Bangladesh conducts its observes its 50th anniversary or the Golden Jubilee anniversary of the state of Bangladesh. We have to keep in mind that Bangladesh Prime Minister recently criticized that India's Citizenship Amendment Act was unnecessary. Of course, India did not respond to that. So, those were sore moments between the relations of India and Bangladesh, but still we have to move further and consolidate our relations with Bangladesh, because as I told you, China's influence is increasing in Nepal, in Bangladesh, of course in Pakistan and Sri Lanka. So, Chinese influence is increasing all around India, which is a disturbing fact for India. Okay. So, we are moving. The minimum support price MSP is the price at which the government promises to buy from farmers if market prices fall below it. In India, MSP is offered for how many commodities? How many commodities are offered MSP now? MSP is a point of contention. Somebody is asking whether the regular batch has it started. Yes, we have started the regular batch. The first batch, December batches are complete. So, the next batch is on January 4th. You can register at our website icdkollam.in and wait for the admit card. Okay, I am getting the answers. Good, most of the answers are very correct. 23 commodities are offered the minimum support price. So, presently 23 commodities which comprise 7 cereals: paddy, wheat, maize, sorghum, pearl millet, barley and ragi. So, 7 cereals and 5 pulses, they are gram, tur, moor, urad and lentil, and 7 oil seeds: groundnut, rapeseed, mustard, soybean, sunflower and niger seed, and 4 commercial crops: copra, sugarcane, cotton and raw jute. These are the 23 different commodities that are offered minimum support price. I should recall that the Kerala government has started giving minimum support price for even vegetables. A few vegetables are also included in the purview of ambit of MSP. In different states, different commodities are included, but generally 23 commodities are given MSP support, minimum support price. This is one of the major contention between the striking farmers and the government. The government clearly said that it will not do away with MSP, but the farmers suspect that, despite the assurance, the farmers suspect that MSP will be taken out from its present way. That is the doubts of the farmers. So, that is why they continue with the strike, and of course they want a complete repeal, they want the complete repeal of the farms laws. So, but MSP is the major point of contention. Okay, I am proceeding further. MSP, the factoids versus the facts. It is a beautiful article that I read. What is a factoid? An item of unreliable information, an item of unreliable information that is reported and repeated so often that it becomes an accepted fact or accepted as a fact. So, that is factoid. This article writes about what are promoted as facts, but the article says that most of them are factoids, which in government circle it is said that only big farmers are benefited by the so called MSP, but the article says that that is an absolute factoid. The fact is that in India there are not too many big farmers, only 3 to 6% of the big farmers are benefited, and most of the farmers that are benefited through MSP are minimum, small or marginal farmers. So, read all these articles so that you can make your own opinion and you can side with either the government or the farmers. You can make an opinion. It is not about siding with the government or siding with the farmers, but you should know, you must be an independent observer of the happening. Mind you, this is the farmer strike is the most dominating news item of the day, and it is going to be till it is resolved. So, it is an opportunity for you to understand in the Hindu and in all newspapers, beautiful articles, very relevant articles of these topics will come, and you should read and make notes so that you can make your own independent opinion. 344 abducted Nigerian boys freed. We have discussed this particular news item. It is in Nigeria. Boko Haram, the jihadist group, had abducted nearly 300-400 children from a school. Now it is reported that all the 300 Nigerian schoolboys are released by Boko Haram. The picture says that a group of schoolboys being escorted by the Nigerian military after the release in Katsina. It was in Katsina state in Nigeria that this incident occurred, where nearly 400 plus school children were abducted by Boko Haram, the jihadist group. Brexit negotiations enter final hours. We have discussed in detail what Brexit was all about. Brexit is Britain's exit from the European Union. In 2017, Britain formally decided to move out of the European Union. European Union is a combination of 28 states, European states, that is the big trade union, and there is a common currency union also. Britain was a part of European Union, but not a part of the currency union, the so called Eurozone. But in 2017, Britain officially decided, it made a referendum, and in that referendum the majority of Britons decided to move out of the European Union. Now since then, Britain has been negotiating with the European Union on what would be its relations with the European Union post Brexit, but so far no strong relief has been achieved by both the sides, either the European Union or Brexit, but the time we are there in the final rounds, and we do not know whether Britain will be able to exit the European Union with a deal or without a deal. The Union government has proposed the adoption of a blend of 20% ethanol, ethyl alcohol, and gasoline as an automobile fuel in order to reduce vehicular emissions as well as the country's oil import bill. The fuel is called, what is the name of the 20% ethanol petrol fuel? Yes, let the answers come. Okay, I have started getting the answers. Most of you answer E20, the first option, which is correct. E20 is the correct answer. Biofuel, if you add ethanol in gasoline, in petrol, then our oil import bill can be reduced. The biggest import of India is that of the crude, so our oil import can be reduced and we can save huge lot of foreign exchange. That is one of the benefits. And another benefit is that farmers' income will improve. So in Brazil, almost 30% of the fuel is blended with ethyl alcohol. The current permissible level of blending in India is only 10%. but India has reached only 5.6% of blending as in 2019. Against the permissible level of 10%, India could achieve only 5.6% of ethanol blending in gasoline as in 2019, but now the country is going for a bigger tasks or bigger ambitious goal of achieving 20% of ethanol blending, for which the designs of engines also have to be changed. So, it is going to be a major challenge to the automobile industry as such. So, we have to wait and see how it is going to be implemented. India mulls E20 fuel to cut vehicular emissions. The government on Friday proposed the adoption of E20 fuel, a blend of 20% ethanol and gasoline, as an automobile fuel in order to reduce vehicular emissions as well as country's import bill. Okay, the government has published a draft notification and invited comments from public for adoption of the fuel. Fine. So, it has to be E20 compliant vehicles. The notification facilitates the development of E20 compliant vehicles. So, it is not going to be just mixing of petrol and ethanol, but it has to be a larger thing, that there has to be change in the engine patterns also. So, very important question, it may even come for your exam. Government mulls bad bank to boost banking sector. Bad bank is not bad as you may think. We know that the non-performing assets of banks are increasing. Non-performing assets means loans. For a bank, every loan is an asset. A loan which is not properly repaid is called a bad loan or a bad asset or non-performing assets. In one occasion I told you that assets are classified as standard assets, substandard asset, bad and doubtful asset and bad assets. Standard assets means assets that are properly serviced, loans that are properly serviced. Substandard asset means the NPA, non-performing assets. So, non-performing assets include substandard assets, bad and doubtful assets and the return of assets called bad assets. So, bad assets makes banks weaker, it makes their balance sheets weaker. So, bad banks, what will they do? They will buy out the bad assets. Listen, bad assets may not be really bad, they are bad only in terms of finance. In financial terms they may be bad, but with financial re-engineering the bad assets can be converted into strong assets. But banks by very nature cannot afford to wait for long, that is the issue. Banks require their funds back very quickly. So, they cannot keep on waiting for the loanees to pay back their loans. So, they manage their cash flows in such a manner that they plan their cash flows based on the assets lent. If some assets become bad, immediately their cash flow is affected and banks will become in a very bad financial position. So, what will the bad banks do? Bad banks do, they may buy out the bad assets from bank's balance sheet. So, bank's balance sheet can be cleansed. So, it is all about a kind of a window dressing. There is a there are different schools of thought regarding the introduction of bad banks. Indian chief economic advisor said that setting up a bad bank may not be a potent option to address the NPA woes in the sector. So, within the government itself there is different schools of thought. Here the finance secretary, economic affairs secretary says that yes, they may go ahead with the bad banks, but the chief economic advisor has got different opinion. He says that that may not be the best option to address the woes, financial woes owing to the mounting non-performing assets of commercial banks. Yes, here I move on to the December 20 Hindu. More Punjab farmers head for Delhi to join protests. Bengal sees mass defection as the Home Minister visits a rally, West Bengal, and attend a rally. China appoints new general for India Border Command. Both the countries are trying their best to make sure that normalcy is attained in the border. The general who was in charge of the western border of China or India's eastern border, the Indo-China border, the Chinese general, in the last 4 years under this general, there have been continuous border violations by the Chinese army. Now political leadership both the countries have spoken. At the administrative level, at the political level, and at the military level, continuous talks are being done, are being held. So it could be because of that there is a change in command at the Chinese army. Let us hope for the best. US approves Moderna as second vaccine. Of course, US government accepted the introduction of Pfizer vaccine last week. Now Moderna vaccine will also be used in USA. America is the country that is having maximum corona positive cases. So the country's economy is also stagnating. So vaccine will hopefully revive the American economy. When American economy does well, it will have positive ramifications on other countries' economies also. Amit Panghal has recently won gold in the Boxing World Cup held in Cologne. Where is Cologne situated? Where is Cologne situated? Very important, Amit Panghal, that name may also come, an Indian winning gold medal in an international event is definitely a probable question for your upcoming exams. Yes, let the answers come. Okay, I have started getting the answer. Most of the answers suggest it is 1 first option. Okay, let us see whether it is first one. Fourth one, England. Okay, Cologne is in Germany. The answer is the second option. Cologne is in Germany. Rahul got it correct. Cologne is in Germany. Thank you very much for watching the program. Of course, we did not have much questions these days, which may be probable questions for your examinations, but it was nice reading Sunday's newspaper, a lot of things to read. So keep on reading. I request all of you to spend a good quality 2 hours a minimum on the newspapers. Write down your diary of events so that you will get full marks for your examination. Of course, our notes will definitely help you, but to have the best utility of the notes, you must read the newspapers in first hand. We will have another session at 3 o'clock. It could be either on English, QA or reasoning. Please await, encourage us by subscribing to our YouTube channels and other social media channels. Thank you very much. I wish you, all of you, a good day ahead of you. Goodbye.